I just think there's a job to do at Rangers. I think there's a lot of complications about what Villa are. I'm a great admirer of Aston Villa. You know I'm very fond of them. Doug Ellis was someone I was incredibly fond of in the times that I got to spend in his company, and I understand the stature of this football club. But it's had a variety of managers over the last 11 years. It's not had a great deal of stability. It's got owners that are pushing the envelope because probably Dean Smith could have turned this around and probably had the right to have it turned around. I know the whole of 21 wasn't a great year for them. And you look at the whole scenario and say, well, it wasn't just the 5 games that he lost that probably did for him. It was also the period of time where they weren't in top nick. They had to rebuild a team. Grealish goes out, more players come in. Liam Bailey's been injured. All the things that Trevor pointed out.
Yeah.
And I think Gerrard would be wise to factor all those things into his thinking. The flip side of the argument is being in Scotland, he's won the league. And my argument is he's not a work in progress. He's a work in progress.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, with the greatest respect in the world to Scotland, how much more he learns in Scotland. So I'm arguing against myself. I just think with the whole package, with the state of flux that Villa are in, despite them being in a club that should be going in a forward direction and every right to look at the top end of the table, I think that they would be better off looking at a fully rounded manager like the boy in Ajax, Ten Hag, that can go in there and elevate Villa to the heights that Wes Edens and the other fella seem to dictate is the direction of travel for Villa. And I think if you look at the whole mix, Gerrard is the sum of all his parts. I think all the backroom staff at Villa would need to go with him to build a team, and you'd then be moving into £8, £9, £10 million of a compensation, which, by the way, is nothing to Villa.
I know.
It's nothing to Villa.
But Simon, the basic question here is, has progressive and young now superseded experience? Because it's looking that way.
Okay, progressive and young is always one side of the equation.
Really?
As long as it's good progressive. Well, Rooney's not doing anything. Come on, this team barely stayed up with the last kick of the game last season, and he's managing in very difficult circumstances, but we can't bring him into the conversation
He's
yet.
in the Derby dugout.
But we can't bring him in the conversation as someone that we can say is doing particularly well. We can say Arteta's maybe turned a corner. Vieira has started 10 games, 11 games.
Lampard
did really well.
But owners are going for these profiles. They're going for these profiles. Edens and Sawiris are going for the profile.
Certain clubs are, and I understand the reasons why. And certain clubs will reverse out of it pretty quickly. Frank Lampard was brought in by Chelsea and very quickly moved out the door. So it isn't just a blueprint for success, but I do get the dynamic of it. But if Villa want to suggest they want to punch at the top table, with due respect to Steven Gerrard, he's got a way to go before he's a top table manager. He may well get there.
Yeah.
But today, if Villa's demand is today, which it seems to be, then I think you're taking a punt with Steven Gerrard. No, people won't want to hear that.
Yeah.
But that's what I think.
That's what you think. You don't think that, Trevor?
No, I don't.
And you're not winning your Celtic boxer shorts when you say that.
Absolutely
You want
not.
him out of there. You want him at Villa, don't you?
Well, from a Celtic point of view, of course you do, because he's been excellent since he's got to Rangers. But what I would say is, when you're talking about managers, and in particular Steven Gerrard, and you're talking about Aston Villa, I almost think they're coupled in their journey. Aston Villa are trying to get to that top 6, top 8 of the Premier League, and I think Steven Gerrard has proved himself north of the border, and he's ready to go to higher levels, and I think Aston Villa is probably just about the right club for him at this stage in his career. Now, he's been successful, he's lifted silverware, he's played in Europe. I think you look at the fundamentals of Aston Villa, history, you look at the academy, bringing players through, you look at
has he proven himself in Scotland? No.
I think if you ask most fans,
teams in Scotland dominate leagues, and they dominate them for periods of time. And Celtic have dominated the landscape for 9 years. Brendan Rodgers won title after title after title after title
until Steven Gerrard came along.
Until no, not necessarily.
Yeah, but this is a Rangers that had to re-establish itself,
to overtake from Brendan Rodgers. I get it.
You know, they had to re-establish the entire profile.
Of course, I get the landscape. But what I'm saying is, I'm pushing back on Trevor's analysis that he's proven himself in Scotland. When you prove yourself in Scotland, you dominate the leagues for a period of time. Brendan then earned the right to rebuild himself, to rock back into Leicester, that is a very decent and well-run football club, and take those particular reins. Steven Gerrard's been at Rangers for 3 years, won it once, at a time when, with all due fairness, they won it on their own merits, they were unbeaten, but Celtic were rank poor. Let's see him do it again this year. Then you can say to me, he's proven his point, he's earned the right, he's established himself in Scottish football.
But I think if you go through a season without getting beat, it doesn't matter. Listen, this could be under 15s. Yeah. You know what you're doing. You've been able to organise them players. You've been able to get the players up for games. Even when you've got a weakened squad, you've got injuries, you've been able to get out there and get results and not get beat. I think that deserves a lot of credit.
Of course it does.
And also winning the league when Celtic was so dominant.
No one's attracted from that. We're just basically saying, what's the gap between doing it here and then taking on a task at Aston Villa, being right for both of you?
Well,
right for Gerrard and right for Villa.
Well, the other side of this argument is, people are saying, oh, well, he wants to go straight from Rangers to Liverpool, it's too big a jump for me.
Oh,
so I
absolutely.
feel
Agreed.
Aston
And
Villa,
that's not gonna
especially
happen anytime soon.
no, of course not, and especially with the situation that Villa have found themselves in, where they've sacked Dean Smith, their players and team are underachieving really what they should be doing this season. I know they've had injuries and lots of bits and bobs going on, but I think Steven Gerrard is the perfect manager to bring in there and get the players
One trophy
stimulated
in 3 years in Scottish football. One
was-
trophy, that is
the
not proving
the
itself.
last big one that was
But
available. to
Trev,
him.
one trophy in 3 years. Brendan Rodgers went to Celtic and
How
proved
many
himself.
trophies have Villa won recently?
But we're talking about Gerrard. We're not talking about Villa. We're talking about Gerrard's
talking about Villa.
But hold on, we're talking about Gerrard's achievements to be able to tell that he's going to be able to have the outcomes that Villa wants. So before we get to Villa, we get to Gerrard first and say, well, Trevor's analysis, we put Gerrard into a bracket of this, that and the other, and he's done his job in Scotland. One trophy in 3 years in
Yeah,
Scottish
but you're saying that
football
Villa need a
isn't-
serial trophy winner.
But it's
Villa-
one
Villa
trophy
have
in the
lost
last-
to have-
it's
Villa
one
have lost
trophy
to
in the
have
last
a
year.
serial trophy.
I'm saying that if they want to step up to the big leagues, don't get a name that on paper looks wonderful and has won one trophy in 3 years and doing a good job currently and is building his career. Get somebody that's actually at the top of the tree.
Trevor, no less a figure than Sir Rod Stewart's with Simon. Rod's saying he hasn't proved himself in Scotland one in a row in 3 years. I mean, I know what he's saying.
Yeah, I
and
understand what he's saying.
Celtic fans will say that. So, Rod, I get that. But at the end of the day, you think, Trevor, undoubtedly it is time for Gerrard to take this move on should they approach him. And the likelihood is he will.
I think if he gets the opportunity to go to a club steeped in history and success, as Aston Villa have over the years, I think it'd be too big a club to turn down.
Jim White and Simon Jordan, Monday to Thursday morning 10 till 1 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.